Welcome, theory classes. This is Mr. Woodhouse. We're going to have just a short, real brief music lesson about time signature again today. Now, we're not going to talk about 4/4 time today. We're going to talk about 2/4 and 3/4 time. So remember what I told you about 4/4 time is that the numbers represent something to the musician. So the top number in this instance for 2/4 time would equal 2 beats per measure. And the bottom number always, every time you see that bottom number, remember anytime it's a 4, remember anytime that bottom number is a 4, that means the quarter note gets the beat. Now, in 2/4 time, remember we have 2 beats per measure, so that means we can only have a maximum of 2 quarter notes in a measure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a measure here of music with 2/4 time. It's not going to take very long. Just bear with me here as I draw the lines. And I'm going to put your time signature in. Let me fix that line there. Where'd my eraser go? Here it is over here. Fix that crooked measure bar. What I'll do is we'll draw a 2/4 measure time here for you. And we'll kind of explain to you on the note values that can go in a 2/4 measure time. And remember, time signature is always going to be one of the first things you see at the beginning of a piece of music. Like I've got right here on this piece of music I showed you the last time. Remember, you see that 4/4? In this case, though, we're going to talk about 2/4 time. So as soon as you see the clef, you look just to the right of the clef, you'll see the time signature. And those two numbers represent something to the musician. Okay? So the 2 beats per measure, so that means if we have a 2/4 measure here, we can only have 2 quarter notes in the measure, okay? Or, so that would be 1, 2, and then the next measure would happen, okay? Now, if I was going to put another type of note value in here in this measure here, we can use it. It's going to take a minute to erase it here. And we need 2 beats. So what note on your chart, I'm going to show you in just a second. No, I'm not going to show you, but I've got it up on canvas. You'll have it on canvas. The chart will show you what note that we have that gets 2 beats, which is the half note. So that's the empty note head with the stem, and that gets 2 beats. So that would last this whole measure, and then you could continue on in 2/4 measure just with half notes as being the whole measure. All right. So that is 2/4 time. Also, in 2/4 time, you can put 4 eighth notes in 2/4 time, mainly because an eighth note only gets half of a beat, remember? So eighth note, you can put 4 eighth notes to complete a 2/4 measure, okay? And then just double that number for 16ths. I won't draw 16ths today, but just double that number for 16ths. But if you see the eighth notes there, 1 and 2 and, that's how you would play it, or it's how you would sing it, how you would play it would be, and that'd be 2/4 time. You get started on the next measure. All right, and you can hear that there. So that is 2/4 time explained. Now there's also one other thing that you may want to know. A whole note in 2/4 time, a whole note can complete the whole measure too. So if you put one whole note in there, even though technically on our chart the whole note says it takes up 4 beats, in music if you see a whole note in 2/4 time, that mainly just says play it for 2 beats and go on to the next measure. Okay, so and of course you know a whole note looks like with no stems. And let me erase this and try to get these drawn again for you, and I'll be in the way just a second. And then what I'll do is put a whole note here, and you can put a whole note in there too to complete a 2/4 measure. Okay, so that's 2/4 time. If you have any questions, you can email me about time signature, but we'll talk about 2/4 time. And now, well, we just have anyway. Now we're going to talk about 3/4 time. Okay, now I want you guys to learn a little bit of theory now in my classes. I know this is something you guys think, well, this is not really relatable to me, but you can do music your whole life, folks. You can play an instrument if you decide to. You can be in a choir and you can sing music, and it'd be helpful if you could learn a little bit about how to read the notes on the page if you decide to ever do that, because some of you will be looking for things to do when you get older, particularly as an adult. For me, I like singing in choirs. So for me, that would be one of my things that I like to do that kind of helps me keep my musician skills and my music skills up to keep them up and keep me active and not letting those skills fail or go. Okay, so let's go to 3/4 time now. We'll go to 3/4 time. Now remember what the top number means, beats in a measure. So that means if we have a beat, we have a 3/4 time signature, we're going to have 3 beats per measure. So, and of course, the bottom number again means that the quarter note, if it's a 4, the quarter note gets the beat, and that's the note that's the filled-in note head with no flag. Okay, the quarter note looks like this. All right, and we've talked about that before, but remember the quarter note looks like that. So when we do 3/4 measure, we have 1, 2 quarter notes, 3 quarter notes. So that represents all of our beats, okay? And that looks like an 8th note because of the way the staff's drawn, but you see that kind of way. That's what your quarter notes are. So when I was going to play 1, 2, 3, there's several songs that are kind of famous that are in 3/4 time. Any waltz that you hear, 1, 2, 3, you know, those movies that you watch where the people are dancing in the ballroom, those are generally waltz numbers, which is in 3/4 time. And then you got a hymn or two like Amazing Grace, it's in 3/4 time. And this is how it goes. So you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Or you could do Amazing Grace. Let me kind of give you that. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. So that kind of gives you an idea. That's a song that's in 3/4 time. Now, so you have 3 quarter notes that'll fill up a 3/4 measure. Also, a dotted half note will fill up a 3/4 measure. Now, we haven't talked about the dot much, but just trust me, a dotted half note gets 3 beats, and it looks like this. All right, let me draw that on here. It looks like that with a dot out beside it. That gets 3 beats. All right, let me get that stem connected. Kind of hard to draw this on the fly here. So there you go. So there's your 3/4 time. That's your half note, dotted half note, and it lasts 3 beats. All right. Or you could put a half note plus a quarter note would fill out the measure, like this. Okay. If you're going to do that, you play it. It'd be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's how you would play that if you saw it on a piece of music, because you have 2 beats on this note and 1 beat there. And then if we go straight to the 8th notes again, your 8th notes, you can put 6 8th notes. 6 8th notes in a 3/4 measure. Okay, it's going to take me a minute to draw these. I know they're very messy, but I have to stoop kind of over to get to the bottom part of this board when I draw these. So it just a little bit easier, a little harder to do. So anyway, there's your 8th notes, and if you're going to play 6 8th notes in 3/4 time, it'd be like this one. 1 and 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3, and that's how you would play that, or how you would sing that. Of course, if the pitch changes going up and down on the staff, you would just change the pitch as you notice it. So anyway, that's our lesson for today. Time signature, 2/4 measure, you get 2 beats per measure, quarter note gets a beat. 3/4 measure, you get 3 beats per measure, quarter note gets a beat. And I'm going to put up that chart again for you. That'll give you an idea of what your note values are supposed to be. And the next theory lesson we haven't had many this year, and these are all been simple. The next one we'll have will be on the dot, and we'll talk about what the dot means when you see it in music. Okay? Hope you guys have a good week. Talk to you later.